Welcome everybody to this session on fiscal period closure. It is December 13th, 2023. This is Yoel Kortic, Senior Librarian at Ex Libris. Before we jump in directly to the fiscal period closure, I'd like to bring your attention to this page here, this documentation page, as well as a PowerPoint about the fiscal period closure, which I will send in the chat. Those of you watching this via YouTube can find a link to these resources in the chat. In the description, excuse me, in the description of the video. There's a description down below in the video on YouTube. So you'll see a link to both of these resources, the online help, as well as an accompanying PowerPoint. We will not be looking in depth at this PowerPoint, but we will be at least briefly showing it. Let me just send out these links. And without further ado, let's begin. So what we're going to do today is give some general overview of the fiscal period closure, what it does, why we do it. Then we're going to run it live on an environment. Now, typically, the fiscal period closure is run a couple of days before the end of the fiscal period. It could even be a month, but a week or so. I happen to be running this in an Asia Pacific environment where typically the fiscal period will go from January 1st to December 31st, as opposed to North America, where typically the fiscal period will be end of June to beginning of July, or beginning of July to end of June, somewhere around there to correspond together with the academic year. I'm talking about the fiscal period of the library. Europe, it tends to differ, but in any case, I'm running it now in an Asia Pacific area where it ends in any case on 31 December, and we're already at 13 December, with many vacation days between now and 31 December. But it works the same regardless of whether your fiscal period ends in end of June or end of December. So there's two jobs we're going to be looking at, the rollover ledgers and the rollover PO lines. We'll talk more about those once we get to them and when we actually run them live. Let's see a little introduction here, and then I think we'll jump right in and just start running rather than reading the PowerPoint. This points to that page that I showed you on the Knowledge Center online help. A role, this is important, a role. So in order to run what we're going to be looking at, the user has to have this fiscal period manager role. Let's go take a brief look at that. I'm logged in now as a user named Alicia Hen, and Alicia has that fiscal period manager role. It's a role which can be configured only on the level of the institution, not on the level of a library. So you see here, we see only the institution. It's active. So Alicia can run the fiscal period rollover because she has that role. So that's an important point. If you try this and don't see the menu option, that's probably the reason. So there's three jobs. We're going to be talking about two of them, but we'll mention the third. There's the rollover ledgers. Then there's the rollover PO lines. And it's possible to charge for resource sharing requests and have a dedicated fund for that. If an institution is doing that and has open resource sharing requests with charges at the end of the fiscal period, there's a job to also roll over the resource sharing requests. We won't be doing that live today. We'll be doing the first two. I'll also point out here that while this isn't a session on acquisitions infrastructure and funds infrastructure, when we talk about a ledger is the highest level. We'll see this live in a moment, but let me explain in advance. So a ledger is the highest level in the hierarchy, where under the ledger, there may be a summary fund, and then under the summary fund, there may be allocated funds. And the allocated funds are the ones that are actually used for purchase order lines and then ultimately for transactions of type expenditure and encumbrance for that matter. So we will be looking at a ledger which has an allocated fund, and then we will be looking at the purchase order lines of one fiscal year going into a new opened fiscal period. It'll all become clearer as we go, but I did want to point out that the ledger is the highest level. Under that, we have perhaps summary funds, definitely allocated funds, and those allocated funds do the transactions of the purchase order lines. So it's the first step in the fiscal period closure, the rollover ledgers. It's done before the rollover PO lines because the ledger has to exist before you roll over the PO line into a new fund, or existing fund, I could say, of a new fiscal period. And that fiscal period is associated with the ledger. So in any case, you first have to run the rollover ledgers. It's a manual job, as we'll see. And it doesn't change any of the existing ledgers or allocations. It only creates new ones. So we're going to run it. And before we run it, let's see our situation right now. My current fiscal period is January to December 2023. And I have a ledger called Gender Studies. If I click on that ledger, Gender Studies, we'll see that I have an active ledger it's a ledger called Gender Studies for 2023. I'm going to write this down because we're going to follow exactly what's going on. So right now we have an active ledger in fiscal year 2023 called Gender Studies. That's number one. If I were to get rid of these facets of fiscal period 2023 and active, we see I do not have this in any other fiscal period. Active or not active, I don't have it. It doesn't exist anywhere else. And that's important for me to point out now because we're going to see it get created soon. So I'm going to say that ledger Gender Studies does not exist in any other fiscal period, active or not active. Okay, that's important to point out because we're going to see it get created. Now, under ledger Gender Studies, oops, what happened there? Under ledger Gender Studies, we have an allocated fund called Feminist Studies. Let's go take a look. So if we come into this active 2023 Gender Studies, under here we have a fund called Feminist Studies. It's an allocated fund. The ledger right now has this. I'm going to take this and put it in our Word document, or better yet, I'll just take a picture of this. And this is important because we're going to see that we create a new fund, a new ledger based on something from here, typically from the cash balance. So I'll say here that currently the ledger Gender Studies for 2023 has the following. Now, what do these mean? Allocated balance is how much was put into this fund at one time, allocated to it. How much did it receive? Expended balance, the second one here, is how much did it actually spend? How much did it actually pay? It has transactions of type expenditure totaling 50, which means its cash balance, the third line, is the allocated balance minus the expended balance. The encumbered balance is the amount that we have already stated that we will use but have not yet spent. For example, if I already created an order for 100 Australian dollars AUD, but I didn't yet spend it, I didn't yet get the invoice and pay it, then that's only encumbered. After I actually make the payment, it becomes expended. And then we have an available balance of 9,850. The available balance, as we can see, is the allocated 10,000 minus 50 minus 100. Comes out to 9,850. So that's what we've got in that ledger. Now, in the fund, which is called Feminist Studies, we have two purchase order lines. There's two purchase order lines using this fund. Let's go take a look. This is all, we're checking all of these details so that we can see what happens after we run the rollover. So let's take a look here. Transactions. So we have purchase order line 42216, which we can see 42216 had the initial encumbrance. That was when the order was made. Then there was a disencumbrance. It came off the encumbrance and it was expended. There was an invoice. If we click there, we'll even see what the story is. There we go. So we had an order here for 50 and it was already paid. Here's the invoice line. So that's one. Let's get back out of here. So 42216 was already expended, encumbered, and disencumbered. That's the 50. So we have this one, which was already expended and done. That's the 50 expended balance that you see in line 2 above. Then we have another one, 44215, which is only encumbered. You can see there's an encumbrance. I didn't yet pay it. So it has an encumbrance amount of 100 Australian dollars. 44215. So that is encumbered for 100 Australian dollars. Now, we're going to roll over the ledgers. Here we go. Acquisitions, advanced tools, rollover ledgers. All of this is in the PowerPoint in depth, what I'm doing. I just would rather show you live, but you can go through that PowerPoint and the online help. Okay. Create allocation from. We're going to choose create allocation from cash balance. That means that when we run this, it'll take whatever that cash balance was. Let's go back to our picture. This cash balance number 3, and that will become the new allocation for the new ledger. So I will choose here cash balance, ledger. If I were to leave the second field ledger blank, it would work on all the ledgers. Actually, I wouldn't leave it blank, excuse me, if I leave it as all. But we're going to run it only on our ledger. What was the name of our ledger again? Gender Studies. Action. We're going to copy. We're going to copy it from fiscal period 2023 to fiscal period of fiscal year 2024. So we have copy here. We could delete it, but we don't want to delete it. We're going to copy. Create status. We could create it active or in draft. I'm going to create it in draft, and then we'll manually go activate it. I could create it active, and then I'm all set. But I want to see what's going to happen first. If I create it in draft, I can later delete it. I'm going to create it in draft. From year, that's the current year in this case. From what year? Copy notes, copy attachments, we're not going to do. And that's good. Now we're going to add and close, means she's going to start running. So let's refresh. Completed successfully. That's nice. Number finished 1. That's nice because I only included 1 ledger. Here's all the details. And let's see what happened. By the way, it says ledgers 1, allocated 1, summary 0, because I didn't have a summary fund under that ledger, but I did have an allocated fund. So let's go take a look at it now. We're going to do the same thing we did before, where we searched here for gender studies, and then we had it only for 2023. You will recall that last time when I clicked 2023 to get rid of that one and to get rid of that, I did not have a 2024. And we even wrote that down. We said, does not exist in any other fiscal period, active or not active. Now it does exist. Now it exists, as you can see here, in 2024. So the ledger was created. Let's look at the ledger. It's draft. So let's activate it. It's draft because we chose draft in the create status just a moment ago. So now I'm going to click up here on the top right, activate. Note here also, let's go in, that we have here the allocated balance, 9,950, because we said create allocation from cash balance. What was our cash balance? 9,950, line 3 right here. So everything worked perfectly. And within this ledger, we got funds. Here's our fund, an active fund for 2024. The previous one was for 2023. And the only transaction right now is 9,950. I'm going to take a picture of that one as well. So let's say here, after the rollover ledgers, the only active fund in the ledger is Feminist Studies, and it has only 1 transaction of type allocate. And we see that right here. Okay, so let's now talk about rolling over the PO lines. We have a PO line under this one here. Let's go take a look at it. I'm even going to write here before I take a picture, this has fund Feminist Studies 2023. Let's go take a look. Order lines. Actually, okay, we'll do it this way. We can get to the order in a myriad of ways. Okay, so here's the fund, and you can see that it has the fund for 2023. It says Feminist Studies 2023 in parentheses. All right, now we're going to come along and roll this over. We're using just one example of a ledger and one example of a fund. Of course, in real life, you'd probably run the whole thing at once, or at least all of the purchase order lines that are in one fund, but we're doing one at a time so we can follow exactly what it's doing. So now we're going to run the acquisitions rollover PO lines. And again, we'll add a job. And this one, we're going to say the new encumbrance calculation will be encumbrance. We could choose expenditure, but we want to encumber it. If we had encumbrance on the previous run, we're going to get the encumbrance now. FPC factor is we could increase the percentage from whatever it was last year, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do it from fiscal year 2023. We're not going to limit it by libraries. That would be the purchase order line owner, not the inventory of not the library of the inventory of the orders, the purchase order line owner. We'll do it for this purchase order line, which we've been playing around with until now. We're not going to do any of this stuff here. Add and close. She's running. Refresh. Great. One finished. Let's go see now the same thing we saw before, which is, we'll start with the order. Sorry, I keep jumping around here. Let's start with that order. So now, beautiful. Now it's 2024. In case someone doesn't see exactly where we're referring to, let's stick her in here, right here. Now it's for 2024. So let's compare previously. You got the same picture here. Where's our picture? Right here, you can see it says Feminist Studies 2023. Now, after the rollover, it's using 2024 because we rolled over that purchase line into the fund for the following year. This is Feminist Studies for fiscal year 2023, the top one. This is Feminist Studies for fiscal year 2024. Excuse me. This order was rolled over from the previous year. It was still in status encumbered. And we rolled it over to the new fiscal period. Let's go into that fiscal period ledger again that we rolled over originally. So let's say funds and ledgers. We'll get that ledger called gender studies. We'll get out of 2023 into 2024, edit. So now we've got that fund still. Previously, this fund had only the transaction allocate. Now you can see it's also got the encumbrance. Let's take this screenshot here. And if you see here, these are all of the transactions beforehand. I'm going to paste the new one. Look what happened now. Here, it only had allocate 9950. Now it's got the new encumbrance on the new purchase order line. So now we're all set. It was removed from the 2023 and put into the 2024. And now we continue on with the 2024. The process is complete. Everything worked perfectly. Let's go look now at the PowerPoint just to refresh ourselves on what happened. I just want to confirm that I didn't see any chats come in. Just send in a chat, anyone who is still with us. 49 people are still here. Send in a chat. Just say, yes, Yoel, we hear you, but we don't have any questions. I get concerned. It's been 24 minutes with no questions or comments. A little out of the ordinary. Okay, so that's good. Someone asked, is it compulsory to roll over the POL even if we are not using Alma to pay invoices, or rolling over the ledger is good enough? If you have purchase order lines in Alma, they should be rolled over. We'll put it that way. If you have purchase order lines in Alma, they should be rolled over. Okay, that was the only question. Everyone else is saying they're with us and hear us. Okay, great. So let's take a look at the PowerPoint, although our live demo is complete. So, okay, we ran this. We ran the create status, the fourth field there as draft. This is one I ran in another environment from FY 2022. This describes the fields which I mentioned anyway. We copied one ledger at a time. If we left it blank, or everything would have been rolled over. We chose copy. Deleting it would have deleted it, as the name states pretty clearly. And then you basically start with something new. This one, we stated the FPC factor allows you to increase a certain amount of the allocation on the new funds. Create can be draft or active. If you recall, we did it draft, then we went into the ledger and made it active. Okay, then we looked at our examples like this. We saw that it had, just like our example, it had one fund. And let's finish the rollover ledgers. Then we rolled over the PO lines. We saw that we had one purchase order line, which was already done. It was expended. First it was encumbered, then disencumbered, then expended. Nothing happens to that. It's already done and in the previous fiscal period. The one, however, that was in fiscal period 2023, we rolled over to 2024. It states right here on all active continuous PO lines and active one-time PO lines that still have an encumbrance. That's why it did not work on the example that we had, which was already closed, because it wasn't still encumbered or active even. It was closed. We ran it like this. We talked about the fields. We selected one PO line as it states here. And we looked before and after, but we can look here too. We saw that in the old one, we had only an encumbrance. When we rolled it over, it came with us. This is just like we did here. And it completed. And we compared the before and after also. It no longer is in the old fund. It's only in the new fund as an encumbrance. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions or comments. Okay, I see something came in. Let's pop into the chat for a moment. Summary funds seem to be a common tool among Alma libraries. I assume they would be rolled over as well. I'll give you a little background on that summary funds. When we made Alma, we had Voyager, we had Alma. The summary funds was popular in Voyager years and years ago. They didn't exist in Alma. It's a hierarchy structure, and yes, it would get rolled over. Basically, it aggregates all of the allocated funds under it. So you can have the ledger and then a ledger called fruits. And then we have summer fruits and fall fruits. Summer fruits can be a summary fund. Fall fruits can be a summary fund. And under fall fruits, maybe you'll have apples and pumpkins. I don't know if pumpkin's a fruit. So you can group things together and then take all of the allocations of them together, all of the encumbrances of together. But yes, it would get rolled over together with the others. But interesting, you say it seems to be a common tool among Alma libraries. Yeah, it's quite useful because you can take a large area and then start dividing it into sections, and then each section is basically a group of allocated funds, and then you can automatically see how much is remaining cash balance in all of them together. I hope that answered your question. Any other questions or comments? Okay, so if there's no other questions or comments, we will close here. It's a pretty straightforward process. Wait, somebody does ask another question. How can we change allocated fund codes and after that roll the open PO lines from fiscal? I would not recommend changing your allocated fund codes. If it's possible at all, I would not recommend that. Once you create a fund, the fund has a name and a code. I would not recommend changing it. There are places where there are connections between things, and it's not a good idea. That's not only for funds. When an entity has a code and a name, you can change the name, but the code, it's not a good idea to change the codes. That's a strong recommendation. Don't change the codes. If what you're talking about, let's just make sure we're talking about the same thing. I'm looking at a, let's get out of here. This is the code. I wouldn't change it. If you can even, I don't even think you can. No, you can't even change it anyway. I would not recommend, even if you could or you find a way to do it, the code should remain as it is. Okay. What you can do if you have issues with your hierarchy and your ledgers, you can decide 1 year you're going to manually create everything for the next fiscal year and then work from there. But I don't even know of a way you can change the fund code, but again, I would not recommend it. And that's not only for the funds, it's for any entity that has a name and a code. Leave the code as it is. Okay, so I don't see any other questions. We will, as usual, be posting the recording of this to YouTube, and you will be able to access it from multiple locations. And we will state that in a mail that goes out to the Alma list. And have a nice day, everybody. Thanks again.